I want to talk today about the OG way to tie a drop shot. I've been tying a drop shot since I learned how to do a drop shot, I should say, when I was about 11, 12 years old maybe. So we're talking 30 years of knowing this rig. And before all these little weights came out, you know, the ones that you can clip on the line, or the bell weights, which bell weights have been around forever. You know, I used to use them a lot, trout fishing and stuff. But the specific drop shot style weights were around. We used to do it a totally different way. And the other day I watched a video from, I think the name of the channel's called Bass Fishing Tips. And he was talking about this. He was talking about these clip-on style ones and how they're good and they're bad. I really like these ones just because they're simple to clip on. They're easy to take off so you don't have a weight on your drop shot rig. We all know that drop shot rigs are kind of a harder rig to store. So I like them for that reason. And if you get hung up, you can just yank the line out. You know, with the bell style weights, if you're tied onto that loop, you know, if it gets hung, it's pretty hung. Some guys will, you know, say your main line is 10-pound test or 12-pound test. Some guys will do like a 6-pound, you know, underneath for the weight. So if you get hung, you can just pop it's easier to break the 6-pound than it is to break the 10-pound, which makes sense. But I'm gonna show you guys how we used to do it 30 years ago, before all these cool weights came out. And I mean, really before the drop shot rig was even popular. So what you're gonna need is a lead bullet weight. Let me see if we can see that. A lead bullet weight. Now I'm sure a lot of people don't have lead bullet weights or too many lead bullet weights anymore. Everybody's using tungsten these days, but go out and get a pack of them, whatever size you want, 3/8 ounce, 1/4 ounce, whatever. They're definitely cheaper than buying tungsten. I think you can get a pack of lead weights at this point for like $1 at Walmart. So this is how we used to do it. You don't have to use a bead, but I always like using a bead because it'll make more sense in a second. Put the bead on there. Then, you know, so this is your line coming away from your lure. Then you slip the weight on there. I don't know if you can see this. I'm trying to get I'm using my phone, so I'm trying to get all this in frame. So basically, now you got the bullet weight on there. Get a pair of pliers and crimp it like you would a split shot. So this is how I learned this rig, like I said, 30 years ago. So now you got your weight, stop it from spinning, your weight with the bead. So when you're drop shotting it, you can get that clack. Probably can't hear it on camera. You get that clack, and if it gets hung, it's just crimped on there. So you can pull it out similar to the other style weight. So it'll just slip out of the weight. You know, I learned this when I was a kid. I used to go to a lake all the time that was like about a half hour from my house, maybe 45 minutes from my house. My mom used to drop me off all the time with my float tube. And I'd go out there and float tube fish for a few hours, and then she would page me. That's when we used to have pagers. She would page me that she was on her way back to come pick me up like 2 in the afternoon, then she'd come back and pick me up. But I was out there one day and some guy in his float tube was like, "Hey man, let me show you this new rig." I should have grabbed it out. And he showed me how to do this with the, you know, crimping the weight on like that, putting a bead on it. Like I said, you don't have to do the bead. And he taught me how to do it, and that was like the only thing I'd fish because it produces fish. In fact, I used to, at that time, I only had 2 bait casting reels because I was learning how to use bait casters, so that's all I wanted to take out. Let me grab you my first bait casting. I take that back. This actually wasn't my first, this was my second one, but this right here, it's an old Quantum on a Bill Dance, I think it's a medium power maybe? Medium power rod, 6'6", medium power. And this was my drop shot rod. When I got older and I started using a spinning rod to use a drop shot, it was super awkward and uncomfortable because I was so used to just doing this. bunk, 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 bunk. And to be honest with you, I really like using a baitcaster for drop shotting more than the spinning rod. But I was in the garage right now, tying on a new leader to my drop shot rod that hardly ever gets used anymore. I got so many other lures. But I wanted to show you guys just how we used to do it 30 years ago. And yeah, and this little leech right here, I'm not sure who makes it, but this thing's fire, by the way. When I'm having a rough day, it's like a brownish motor oil, like burnt motor oil color with blue flake in it. This thing's fire. I don't know who makes it. I think my son got it in one of his monster bass boxes. And I used it one day and I hung on to the package. It's in my boat because I think I'm gonna buy some more of them. I really like them. But yeah, I just thought I would share that with you guys. It's the OG way of doing the drop shot. Now that all these fancy new, weights and stuff are out there, I still do it that way. I like it. It works well. It adds a little bit of noise with the bead. It's still, you can able to pull it loose like you can the other style weights, and lead bullet weights are super cheap now that everyone's using tungsten. Well, I'm gonna let it go or leave this video there.